Hi, everyone. My name is Ilana Sherman. I am the Director of Education from Erica's Lighthouse, and some of you may have heard of us before. So it might be new for some of you. We've been doing a lot of work in Ohio in the past year with the new House Bill 123 going into effect for next school year, and just doing some work around health ed and with the school counselors and lots of folks there. So I'm excited to be here today and to give you some information about Erica's Lighthouse and about some of our programs and resources that I think can hopefully be useful as you teach and as you think about your school year next year. As Randy mentioned, if you have questions, feel free to save them till the end or put them in the chat if you are worried about forgetting. And I will make sure that we'll have time for them toward the end. So the title of the program is just Erica's Lighthouse, our organization, a House Bill, I don't know why I wrote Ann, sorry about that, House Bill 123 approved program. The next slide, I will show you this again, so I'm going to go quickly over it, but this is just a quick QR code or our website that will bring you to what's called our resource portal, and that is where we house all of our resources. So just so that you make sure you make an account, everything we offer is free of charge, but you do have to have an account with the username and password for our resource portal. So this will bring you there. I will show this again at the end of the slides, I promise, just so you can see it. Just to give you a little background on Erica's Lighthouse and a little on the why, like why we do the work that we do. We are a nonprofit organization. We started in 2004 in the Chicagoland area, so I'm still there. That's where I grew up, and that's where we are based, but we're a national program now. But back in 2004, Erica, who was an 8th grader, 14 years old, died from her depression. She died by suicide, and Erica's family and her family friends came up with, sort of sat around a kitchen table while they were grieving and came up with Erica's Lighthouse as a way to educate others and break down the stigma related to, at that time, depression and mental health, and talk about a topic that wasn't really being talked about. So they started some programming and education in Erica's middle school, and since 2004 it has grown immensely, and we are very proud of that and very excited to be able to share our resources with anyone who needs them. We're very, very mission-based, focused on depression awareness, mental health awareness, suicide prevention awareness, stigma reduction, empowering young people to really take charge of their mental health. By using a teen voice, we're normalizing conversations around mental health and creating that common vocabulary that people can use. We provide all of our evidence-informed programs at no cost, absolutely free of charge, I promise. And we focus on bringing our resources to elementary, middle, and high schools. So since our inception in 2004, we've been able to impact 2 million teens, and we're doing more and more each year. So far this school year, in fact, that number, since I made this PowerPoint, has grown to about 460,000 teens have been impacted by our programming this school year in 1,500 schools in 48 states. So starting from one school and now in 1,500 schools, we're really able to meet the needs of different states, different mandates, different requirements, and we're excited about that. So specifically for your state, I just wanted to bring up the House bill that's going on that my guess is most of you are aware of it. I've been working a lot with some of the ESCs around the state and different bigger districts, and the Ohio, actually, working with the Ohio Department of Education, or not working with them, but we were approved as, and was able to attend their webinar regarding this specific bill the other day. So I've been doing a lot of work here. So I wanted to make sure I share, just a little bit on how we align and how we meet the requirements. So as you probably know, and this was taken right from the ODE website, starting next year in every grade from grades 6 through 12 and continuing each year, school districts must include at least 1 hour or one standard class period per school year of evidence-based instruction in each of the following topics. So suicide awareness and prevention, safety training and violence prevention, and social inclusion. Now, in red, we highlighted sort of what how Erica's Lighthouse is helping out and what we feel like is not so much the important piece, but where we're connected. So Erica's Lighthouse has been approved as a suicide awareness and prevention program and a violence prevention program. So they sort of put our programming under that heading, and they did that for most organizations. So if you look on the ODE website under the House bill, programs are either listed as under number 1 and 2 or a social inclusion program. So as you can see, it's important to note that the requirement is 1 hour for each of those. Suicide awareness and prevention is required for 1 hour, safety training and violence prevention for 1 hour. Therefore, you actually need at least 2 hours of our program or another one you might choose to meet the requirements. So again, straight from the website, we're listed as an approved program. We're the first one on the list, which is great for us, but it's really just alphabetical. And I believe they're going to be putting some more information on this with maybe more details about specifically how we meet it. Right now, it's just our website. So we're meeting these requirements by using our classroom programs, which I know I haven't mentioned yet, but our classroom programs, some of our optional program additions, as well as some of our staff training modules. And I'll share all of that with you. So to get an idea of the resources that we have at Erica's Lighthouse, we look at sort of this image here that has what we call our 4 pillars. Classroom education being one, teen empowerment, family engagement, and school policy and staff development. And we really feel strongly that implementing all 4 pillars helps to build an inclusive school culture around mental health. Now, we know that not every school is able to implement all 4 pillars at one time. Sometimes it's hard to implement one of the pillars or one piece of one of the pillars at one time. And we understand that. We are just looking at it at a big picture view. We know that, for instance, classroom education for students is really, really important, but we also know that educating the staff with some of the same psychoeducation and information and educating the families around this is important as well. So in red, we have our classroom programs. That's what I'm going to focus mainly on today. We have 3 different programs called Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. In yellow, we have our teen empowerment pillar, and that's made up of resources to help you start teen empowerment clubs at your school. Excuse me. So maybe you have, excuse me, you might have some students that are great leaders that are interested in starting a mental health club, a kindness club, a mindfulness club, something that related to mental health awareness, spreading education around this topic. We can help you start a club. We can actually help fund you. We give you ideas for activities, etc. So feel free to reach out after this if you're interested. We also have staff training resources and school policy resources if you are looking to increase the knowledge and psychoeducation of your staff and help train them, teaching them about depression and suicide, about how to be a trusted adult, classroom crisis intervention, etc. And then we have our family resources. We offer a family handbook or family workbook series, I should say, that's brand new, as well as family workshops that are done for you that you can distribute to families. So let's start with our classroom education pillar. Here are the 3 programs that we offer. Our programs are Tier 1, early intervention, early identification programs, really geared towards all students. So these are prevention-based. These are not Tier 2 and Tier 3 for specific groups of students. They're really a prevention-based program for all students in the school for grades 4 through 12. The 3 programs are designed to educate students about mental health, depression, suicide, good mental health, and help-seeking behaviors. In the level 1 program, students are really able to leverage the social emotional skills that are often learned through SEL programs to understand the differences between everyday feelings and overwhelming feelings. That's a program geared towards our upper elementary grades titled We All Have Mental Health. Our level 2 program for grades 5 through 8 advances the conversation to explicitly discuss depression and it provides students the signs and symptoms, along with a strong focus on help seeking and good mental health. And lastly, our level 3 program for grades 8 through 12, titled Depression Education and Suicide Awareness, delves into suicide, talks a bit about self-harm, and again, strong focus on good mental health and help seeking. Fighting adolescent depression requires compassion, it requires empathy, and of course, education. Our programs provide you with youth-oriented materials that raise awareness, that teach skills, encourage conversation, promote early identification and prevention, and really help show teens that they are never alone. So many young people do not seek the help that they need. By raising awareness of depression and reducing the stigma that surrounds it, through education that's teen-centered, factual, and hopeful, we can change that. All of our programs are easy to download and implement, and they're all ready for you on our resource portal. They're available to you at no cost. The messages that come from Erica's Lighthouse are hopeful, never dark or sensational or fear-based. We really focus on good mental health and reminding students that there is hope available, there is help available, and that they are never alone going through some hard times. Absolutely everyone, even those not going through depression or going through mental health struggles, can learn to take care of themselves. So this program can serve as your school's primary mental health, depression, and suicide awareness teaching tool, or could be used to supplement education you're already using. Maybe you have a program or a curriculum that you really love that you've been using for a while. This could be a supplement to that. The education can be delivered in whatever class makes the most sense. It might be in a health or PE class, but it might be advisory or another class that makes most sense. It can be taught by you. It can be taught by a health or PE teacher, a social worker, a school counselor. Best practices are when a classroom education teacher and a mental health professional or mental health school staff can teach it together, sort of with that multidisciplinary approach. Just know that when you use our classroom programs, we're here to support you at Erica's Lighthouse. I'm always happy to jump on calls and help teachers and staff walk through the program and talk about how to best implement it for your students. You know your students and school the best. So at Erica's Lighthouse, we really take this approach that depression education is suicide prevention. And why we do that? Well, depression continues to be the most common mental health disorder among teens, and the rates are rising. Between 15 to 20% of young people will experience a depressive episode before the age of 20. So that's basically 5 kids out of a class of 25. And 90 to 98% of all youth suicides involve a mental illness, the most common being depression. When schools are educating all students with Tier 1 universal programming, not just those who have depression, there's a chance for some students to really say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know this was depression. I just thought that's what teenagers felt like, or that's what my middle school years or high school years or was supposed to feel like. So now you can have an early intervention, early education, early awareness program going on where students might be able to come forward a little more freely and ask for the help that they deserve. There's so many young people who struggle with depression, and while suicide is actually rare, when it happens, of course, it's tragic and affects more than the family. If you lose a child to suicide in your school community, surrounding that suicide, if you take a look at this graphic, the black dot in the middle of the image is representing a suicide. Surrounding that suicide, 13% of your school population is struggling with depression. 31% of students have reported symptoms of depression. 70% believe anxiety and depression are serious problems. And finally, over 95% of students who believe anxiety and depression are problems among their peers. Not all depressed kids are going to attempt suicide, but by being aware And by talking about it and talking about depression, we're really focusing on identifying struggling adolescents before they get to the point of taking their life. Classroom programs offer one piece of a larger school mental health and suicide prevention model. The programming helps the school in identifying youth that might be struggling, and ultimately these mental health lessons are creating inclusive cultures within school communities, enabling educators to feel confident and capable having these conversations. So let's start by looking at our level 1 program. This is our program geared towards our upper elementary students in grades 4 through 6. So all of our programs are geared towards grade bands. That means you can choose which grade within that grade band you'd like to teach this. If it's all of those grades, great. If it's just one of those, that's just what we've recommended it, what it's been written towards that audience. This is a program that's fully bilingual in English and Spanish. In fact, all 3 of our programs are. The program consists of 4 interactive lessons that focus on understanding that mental health is just as important as physical health, the difference between everyday and overwhelming feelings, how to reach out for help from a trusted adult, as well as identifying good mental health behaviors. The lesson plans are built around a 5-minute animated video, which tells the story of friends Sasha and Andre. Throughout the 4 lessons, students play charades, they participate in coping strategy stations set up around a classroom, role play, talking to a trusted adult, play a game of Kahoot, and more. So the objectives are achieving mental health and good mental health practices, stigma reduction, and help-seeking skills. Our programs are firmly centered on the student, allowing them to find their voices and speak up about mental health. By building up peers in their school, students have the ability to share their knowledge with the community around them, reduce stigma, and in turn, create a whole school and whole community that supports their physical and mental health. And these building blocks provide students the foundation to succeed and excel academically and socially for years to come beyond the classroom. So later on, when you create your resource portal account and then you log into the resource portal, you'll find everything you need to teach any of our programs. For instance, our level 1 program. On the right side of the screen that you're looking at right now is a screenshot of what it looks like, what the resource portal looks like. So you can see it's all organized for you. Everything in red is a downloadable link. The full program. So we sort of have 2 versions of the program. On the left here, the full program, it has 4 lessons. On the right side of the screenshot, there's under the image, there's something called a 1-day lesson. So those are the 2 versions that we have. It depends on how much time you have to teach this topic. The full program is made up of 4 interactive lessons. The first 3 lessons are teaching lessons. The last one is a unit assessment. We also have a 1-day lesson, which is a condensed version of the full program, and also takes about 35 to 40 minutes in length. So each of those programs is about 1 class period. Please know that this is all very flexible, meaning if you have 2 days and you want to extend the 1-day lesson over 2 days, that's fine. You can do what works for you and what works for your students and what they need. So again, these are video-based programs. We have facilitator instructions, which are like the lesson plans for you. We have slideshows as Google Slides, PowerPoint, PDF. We have handouts and student bookmarks and student workbooks. So everything is here for you to download and utilize. Also, our programs for all of you health and PE folks are aligned with the National Health Ed Standards and are very skills-based. We want to make sure that our students are walking away with skills on how to access valid and reliable information and reach out to a trusted adult. Here you can see just some of the examples of activities, charades cards, or what would you say or do in this situation. These are part of our lessons in our level 1 program. We also have exit tickets as part of our level 1 program. So these are to be distributed at the end of each lesson for the students, and it might be, color in the emoji they're most feeling like today, or who's a trusted adult you can talk to. Our third one here is our self-referral card. And that's actually what we use with our older students as well. And that is asking the students if they would need to or like to talk to someone in the next 24 hours or in the next week or not at all. So this exit ticket or self-referral card is utilized in the third lesson of the full day program. Like everything else, though, in our program, you do have flexibility in which exit tickets you choose to use. You don't have to use them. However, if you're planning to use them, it's really, really important to make sure you collaborate with the mental health professionals in your school to make sure that help is available, because typically you see an uptick in the number of students who might need support. Our level 2 program is titled Depression Awareness, and this provides an introduction to the topic of depression and is ideal for the middle school age range in grades 5 through 9. The 4 lessons and activities are designed to increase teens' knowledge of depression, decrease negative attitudes of depression and its treatment, increase self-advocacy and peer-to-peer intervention, and increase engagement in good mental health behaviors. I'm going to try to show this YouTube. This is a trailer. So it's only about 1 minute or so, but I like to show this because our videos for our level 2 and our level 3 program were produced by us, by Erica's Lighthouse, and feature real teens talking about their lived experiences with depression. And they really, really have a they make a great connection to the students who are watching it. The students who are watching it can find something or someone or some part of the story that they connect to. So they're very, very authentic videos. Again, student, not actors, students just talking about their experiences with depression, how it started, some of the maybe possible causes of their depression, what's working for them, coping skills, who are their trusted adults, what are they doing to take care of their mental health.
Over the next few minutes, you're going to meet some pretty incredible people. They're all teenagers with lives, just like you and me. And although they have differences, they all have one thing in common. They have all struggled with and overcome their depression.
So my depression impacted everything. I didn't feel connected to what was going on around me.
I would be upset and I just didn't really know why. It was really out of character because I'm usually like happy and enthusiastic about everything, and suddenly I was just like, what is this feeling?
It makes you lazy, it makes you angry about things, and it makes you not want to do anything, and it stops time. But the fact of the matter is, while you want time to stop because your life is not doing very well right now, time keeps going.
I just felt absolutely miserable, didn't want to do anything.
You're drowning and you're trying to get up, but you're not trying. Like, you want to get up, your body's telling you to get up, but you're not making any of the movements to come from underneath the water. During this time, I went to talk to my social worker, and the more I talked to her, the more better I was starting to feel.
I know it's hard to talk to people about it, but the best thing that you can do for yourself is to talk to somebody.
I think the talking about it not only liberated me from feeling bad about something about myself, it gave me the chance to make it into something really powerful about myself.
You are not alone. Depression is treatable. There is hope and help out there. You can feel better, and you deserve it. Good mental health is for everyone.
So I hope that you were able to see that and the sound was okay. If it wasn't, Randy, feel free to let me know. But
it sounded very good and we were able to see everything.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. So you are able to watch that full video once you have access to our resource portal. Thank you, Randy. Once you have access to our resource portal, you will be able to watch. It's a full 18-minute video. However, when you teach the full program, so broken up into lessons, we have segments of the video that the students would watch during each lesson. If you're using a one-day lesson plan available from us, they would watch the full 18-minute video at once. But I highly recommend you take a look at it. These are some of the students that are in our video. In both videos, we were actually able to follow them from middle school to high school, which was really amazing. So some of the students that watch our classroom education programs are able to see the same students if they're watching level 2, and then as they grow and as the students in the video grow to level 3. So one strength of our classroom programs is our videos, and the strength of those videos is their authenticity. Like I said, they're real teens, not actors, talking about their life, their depression, how it started, what's helped them, who's helped them, how they practice good mental health. So the messages delivered are coming from young people who look and sound like most of the students who are watching, making it easier for a young person to recognize themselves in our videos. Our level 1 program video is an animated video, a 5-minute animated video. We didn't produce it, we have license to use it, but it's a wonderful video if you haven't seen it. It's called We All Have Mental Health. I highly encourage you to use this. This is a great program actually for everyone, for adults too. And it follows the day of 2 friends, Sasha and Andre, and just talks about everyday feelings and overwhelming feelings and what to do about each. So our level 2 program is achieving mental health, well, really more depression literacy, good mental health practices, stigma reduction, help seeking skills. Again, all the information is on our resource portal. This is, again, a video-based program with facilitator instructions, student workbook, slide decks. Everything is here for you, meeting national health education standards. Lessons here are run about 40 to 45 minutes. Here's an example of some of the materials. This is a role playing between a student and their parent, or a student and a friend that they're concerned about. We have different scenarios, so you can break up into smaller groups when you're teaching this. And again, we use our self-referral cards, not screeners, but really self-referral cards for the students. Again, making sure you collaborate and work with others in the school to make sure there's a plan in place in case help is needed for students. We never want to teach this at the end of a day on a Friday afternoon before a break, things like that, because we want to make sure students are being able to talk to someone if they want and need to. Our level 3 program is ideal for students in grades 8 through 12. So typically our high school program, though we do have a lot of 8th graders that use this program, a lot of middle schools might use level 1 in 6th grade, level 2 in 7th, and level 3 in 8th grade. There's a strong focus on depression education and suicide awareness. And again, that strong focus on help-seeking skills and good mental health strategies. So let's take a look at this trailer.
I'd say depression is like gravity in the sense that it's a force that's constantly with you and constantly has its effect on you, but it's always kind of redirecting your thoughts and your feelings into a more negative space.
If you find that you're facing something that is unbearable, it's okay to get help. No matter what anyone has said to you, no matter if you feel embarrassed or you feel like you're alone, first, you're not alone. Do not be scared and seek the help that you need to seek. Never let that one person stop you from overcoming this, because you can overcome it. And this will not be the end all be all. You will be okay.
This doesn't have to be the end, and that if our lives are books, let's say, if our lives are books, then depression does not have to be the entire book, and it also does not have to be the last chapter. It is just a chapter in the middle, and you can just flip through the pages, and there's more at the end that doesn't look like that anymore.
You are special. You are incredible. And things are really tough right now. You will overcome all of it.
All right, so that is our high school or level 3 program, Depression Education and Suicide Awareness. Here again is that screenshot of the resource portal with everything that we have for you. We also do have, I haven't mentioned yet, on the bottom right of the screenshot, evaluation. So we do have opportunities for students to fill out pre and post tests that looking at their knowledge and their behaviors. And then for our schools that typically have over 100 students, we're able to, that fill out that evaluation, we're able to send you that information, that data back to you. That really helps us to make sure we're teaching what we say we're teaching, and that we're making a positive difference in the knowledge and attitudes and behaviors. Here's examples of some of the materials. Again, in like lesson 2, there's student packets of each of the students that are featured in the video, and you can break the students up and they can get into smaller groups and read more about that student and do some reflection questions. So there's a variety of different activities. And using our self-referral cards too. We also have additional program additions. If that sounds optional, I meant to say optional program additions that are additional resources for you, like supplemental resources that you can utilize along with our programs. If you're looking for like an extra boost, or maybe you have 10 extra minutes and you want to do something else related to help seeking or good mental health or trusted adults, we actually have resources that extra handouts, worksheets, etc., that you can fit in. We have a Jeopardy style mental health game. We have this text from a friend simulation. So these are little extras. Or if you have 1 or 2 days to teach this topic and you want to use our one-day lesson, but the next day you want to just do some extras, we have this available as well. So feel free to look at everything that we offer on our resource portal and use what works for you. So hopefully you're sitting here thinking, this is great. How do I get started? It's important to sort of think through how this is going to work. Where's the program going to fit? Maybe it's in health education. Maybe it's advisory, like I mentioned, or another general education class. Who's going to teach it, whether it's you or you and a mental health professional? It can be really helpful to get some buy-in from the staff and make sure to review and communicate any important information on the mental health protocol in the school. Maybe even host a staff training talking about this is what we're going to be teaching in health ed or in the school. And we want to make sure all teachers know what to look for if they're concerned about a student, and they know how to be a trusted adult, because we're teaching the kids to look for trusted adults and identify them. And it might be someone's math teacher or someone's bus driver or someone who works in the lunchroom. So we want to make sure all student-facing staff who work with students are trained as to what to do if someone comes up to them and wants to talk to them. So the more of your staff that's aware that this education is occurring, the better as they may be called upon, and the better for buy-in and for this program to grow and get some legs and stability. So what to teach, what our recommendations are, I should say, for you to teach in 2023-24, especially related to House Bill 123. We're recommending that you choose the program, and we're saying level 2 or level 3 because that's really meeting the requirements of the bill. So grades 6 through 12. Choose which program or programs based on your grade levels. You could do 6, 7, and 8 doing level 2, and then 9 through 12 doing level 3. Choose which program for what grade level, and then you'll want to teach the full version of that program. Now, throughout this session, I've mentioned that we have a full version and a one-day lesson. Just know that the full version is going to help meet the requirements of House Bill 128, because 2 hours are required for suicide prevention, is 1 hour, and then the violence prevention is another. So if you're only using our one-day lesson, it's only one class period, you're really only getting 1 hour. Now, you can fill that in with some of the optional program additions, etc., but this is what we're recommending to schools in Ohio to meet the bill, to meet the Save Students Act, is teaching the full version. And remember, that's made up of 4 lessons in total. 3 are teaching lessons and 1 is an assessment, the 4th lesson. That's optional. If you don't want to use that, you don't have to, but it is a nice way for you to see what the students are learning. And again, best practices are saying it's important for you to know that this program is not meant to be implemented as an assembly style. This is really meant to be classroom implementation. Best practices are not to deliver this on a Friday or at the end of a day before a holiday, before a break, especially when you're using the self-referral cards, and then having a plan for the self-referral cards and who is going to support that process in the building. Now, moving on from our classroom programs, I just wanted to mention our staff training as well, because I've talked a little about that as we've gone on. We offer a suite of school policy and staff development resources as well. We have a variety of staff training options. And we have staff trainings that really range from like 15 minutes, if you know, 40, I should say 45 minutes to about 2 hours. We have videos available. You can see part 1 on the right side here, a training on signs and symptoms of depression and suicide, how to help a student. That's part 3, how to be a trusted adult. Part 4, classroom crisis intervention. Part 2, sorry, I skipped that, an overview of the Erica's Lighthouse programs. So you can almost pick and choose the pieces that you want. And this can be done as an individual training where you are sending out a pre-recorded training that we've provided for you to all your staff members, or you can lead a staff training. Maybe you have someone in the school or in the district who's going to lead it. So we have these documents here for individuals or group staff trainings, and we've provided you all the resources. We also have information about best practices, intervention language. We have white papers available for you here on the model school district policy or the WISC model for our health ed world. And lastly, we really encourage you to reach out to help if you need support or need ideas of what to teach and what to use. So again, here are the resources that we have at Erica's Lighthouse, sort of an overview. There's so much more available on the resource portal than just those classroom education materials. Like I mentioned, there's information on how to start a teen club in your building. We have over 50 turnkey activities that are like school-wide activities to spread awareness and break down stigma in your building. We have resources for families that you can, make sure families are educated about what their students are learning, and everything is available at no cost. So here again is the QR code that'll take you right to the resource portal. However, if you don't want to use your phone or anything like that, you can just go to ericaslighthouse.org, and that's Erica with a K, ericaslighthouse.org. In the upper right corner, there's a button that says Access Resources. You'll want to click that and then go through the process of creating an account if you don't have one already. So it's going to ask you your state and your school name. Put in a school name versus a district. It likes schools better. The system does, I should say. And then you'll put in your personal information, create a username and a password, and then you'll be able to log in and access all of the resources that we have. So even if you only mark down that you're interested in classroom programs, you will still get access to everything that we have. I want to just share my email as well. If you have any questions that come up as you review some of our resources, or if you're interested in teen clubs or anything we offer, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to chat with you over email or jump on a call anytime. So thank you so much for this opportunity.